Well, hello everybody and welcome to the Playa Venao show. Sitting next to me is Ben.
Hello, hello.
My name is Mo, and we're here to talk to you about all things Playa Venao. Some of those things will be relevant to you. Some of those things you'll probably just be learning about a little bit. So we are live. Well, we're lively recorded.
Yeah.
In Playa Venao. We are in the shade, outdoors, and right now the wind's being very kind to us.
Yes.
So hopefully you guys can hear us all right, see us all right. Ben, how was your weekend?
We had an awesome weekend.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Speaking of the wind, it was a little blown out on, I think it was Saturday morning, but we wanted to go have a surf session. So we decided we were going to take the drive to Guanico, which is a beach about, 40 minutes away. And so here in Venao, we looked out, it was a little chop. We're like, so everyone's like, why don't we go to Guanico? So we had two vehicles. We piled the kids in the car. We piled the surfboards in the car. And we took the drive to Guanico, which is such a cool little spot. It's almost like what Venao was probably, I'm assuming, 10 years ago.
Okay.
You know, where they have this really cool kind of tiki bar / restaurant right on the beach. There's a few other little restaurants. There's a surf school there. And so we arrived, looked at the waves, and they were pumping. Just
Really?
And you never quite know. I mean, you can look up, but until you're there, you never quite know.
Okay.
So there was set after set, which is good for a new surfer like me because, you know what, if I miss a wave and it takes a while for the next set, I don't get a lot of surfing in. You know?
Gotcha.
I'm not the guy that catches every single wave yet, you know? Kids were doing awesome, but...
Really?
Yeah.
So was there a lot of people in the water there, or?
No, that's the other thing is it was actually pretty dead. You know, like there's people around, but there's not as many people out surfing. So that was kind of cool. Again, for a new surfer, you know, you're a little self-conscious of how you look, how you feel out on the water.
Of course.
But man, it was awesome. I will say there was one point where the sets just kept coming for about 20 minutes. And I just stayed in the shallows, just paddling for my life, trying to get out there. And by the time it was done, I was like, I think I got like one more wave left in me and I'm done. But man, it was a super cool day. As we got out for the first session, we're like, let's surf, go out, have some lunch, and then we'll come back for a surf once the tides change. Well, when we came out, we look and there's this big mama turtle right on the beach.
Really?
Yeah, and she's making her hole. She hadn't laid her eggs yet. She's making her hole, and we got some really cool footage of that. So we'll put that on our Instagram.
Oh, yes.
For the viewers to see. Man, you just don't get to see that a lot, you know?
Typically, I'm not a turtle expert by any means, but I have seen a turtle hatch, and I have witnessed one of those mama turtles, you know, giving birth. And it was my understanding that those mom turtles lay eggs at nighttime.
Yeah.
But you're saying that they were laying eggs right in the middle of daytime.
Yeah, I don't know whether she got a little mixed up or what, but she was right there, and she was, we'll put the video on the Instagram.
Awesome.
For everyone to see, but that was really, really cool. So yeah, we sat there and just enjoyed Mother Nature at its best. I felt like I was in a National Geographic, setting. And it was a great day, man. I mean, that's the really cool part about being here is you never know what's going to happen each day.
That's so incredible. I mean, the fact that I've been to Guanico once and my son Charlie surfed it, and there is the one cantina, the big cantina that's there where you can get a beer, you can get some, relatively inexpensive food. And then there's a total of 3 restaurants on that beach approximately.
Yeah, it looked like that. Yeah.
It's pretty mellow. There's not a lot of people there.
No. It's pretty chill, but it has a really cool vibe. It says, come here, hang out for the day and surf, and then you go back to your home.
So is it a sandy bottom? Is it, okay, it is a sandy bottom.
Very similar to Venao, except the sand there is kind of black. It gets hot.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is kind of neat. I don't know why, but it is.
Okay.
But yeah, man, like I said, it kind of reminds me of what I would think, if you looked at pictures of Venao 10 years ago, it'd look like.
Okay. Do you feel like it was it pretty safe? Could a beginning surfer go out there?
Yeah, I'm a beginning surfer. My 8-year-old daughter was out there all day, even though the waves were big. They were kind of like, they were big, but they didn't have massive power to them, which was nice. If you got underneath of one, you're coming up pretty quick. So the kids were there. I'm a new surfer. I was there, and we enjoyed the day. It was beautiful.
So if you're tourists coming in to Playa Venao to surf Playa Venao, and you have just a little bit of experience, you would be able to surf Playa Venao, and then you could also surf Guanico, another beach, if you were visiting Panama for, say, a week.
I would say so.
Or 10 days.
I would say
something like
so.
that. Excellent.
Yeah.
I was really impressed when I saw Guanico, but I haven't surfed it. I only watched my son surf it.
Yeah.
So for all you surf schools out there, I have a little bit of a fear of the ocean, so you might have the opportunity to eliminate my fear of the ocean in the future, because being in Playa Venao, I have to learn how to surf. So
For sure.
we'll probably show some video footage of that a little bit along the way, and I will go through my struggles of learning on the air.
Nice.
So if there's anybody else that has a fear of surfing, come join me.
Yeah.
So I welcome the company.
Yeah.
Excellent. So how long did you guys stay out in Guanico, and how long does it take to drive back to Playa Venao from Guanico?
Yeah, like 40 minutes. I'd say 40 minutes. But we left probably around 8 in the morning, got there. We didn't get back and probably till about 4 o'clock.
Okay.
4 o'clock. So it was, you know what, and that was perfect. That allows you to have a session kind of in the morning. You go, you rest during, the big hot part of the day, have your food, have some good company. Went out, had another surf session, packed up, and came home. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, so it makes for a nice day.
That sounds great. At Playa Venao, there's not a ton of shade on the beach. There's plenty of places that you can go on Playa Venao to find shade to get out of the sun. What was the shade like at Guanico?
About the same. You're not going to get a ton of shade. That's the nice part about those restaurants. But they do have these little tiki huts along the beach. So if you're lucky enough to snag one, which, like I said, there wasn't a ton of people, so we had one. So that's where we put our boards. We put our bags full of snacks and water and stuff. So yeah, if you can snag one of those little tiki spots, man, you're golden,
Yeah, I seem to remember there were some trees there, but the landscape changes so much in Panama all the time that,
Yeah.
Sometimes you get shade with the trees, sometimes you don't.
Yeah,
and that's the magic of Panama is just being flexible.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Oh man, that sounds really cool. I did not have a weekend like that at all.
Pretty different.
I had a significantly different weekend. I'm getting some fans installed at my house. Not the typical fans that you would see like in your ceiling, but these are fans mounted into the bathroom wall, that pull the moisture out of the bathroom from the steam.
Okay.
And bring it outside. And it's to protect from mold and mildew and stuff like that. Humidity is an issue in Panama, and having good fans to pull the humidity and the airflow out of your house is super important. I was really stressed out about that job. I was stressed out about the job because my house is made of cinder block. When you have to cut into cinder block, I get a little bit nervous.
Right.
Because I have zero construction experience. Zero construction experience. So when I hear about somebody cutting into a big brick wall, I'm like, oh my gosh, how are we going to run the cables? How are we going to run the wires? How's this going to work? Is it going to look cool? I get really nervous about that. And a friend referred me to this construction company, and I have to give them a quick little promotion shout out. It's Mastercraftsmen.pedasi.
Okay.
Mastercraftsmen.pedasi. You can find them on Instagram. These guys are absolutely fantastic. They cut 2 big holes above each bathroom. I had them install a fan in each bathroom, and they knew what they were doing. They were super professional. They were relatively on time, and they did exactly what they said they were going to do. It was fantastic.
Amazing.
And where I started the project, I was a little bit nervous and anxious. And then as the day kind of unfolded a little bit, it just came together. And I didn't have to do anything. I just sat in my hammock and waited for them to do all the work. And when I tried to help out, like shoveling some concrete dust and stuff like that, they said, Mr. Terry, stop, don't do that. We can do all of that.
Nice.
So I can't thank Christian and his team at Mastercraftsmen.pedasi enough. And I did ask Christian, I said, can I promote your business on the show a little bit? He goes, oh, absolutely. I said, well, do you do work in Playa Venao or in Cañas? And he said, absolutely. So
amazing.
If you need some general handyman work, if you need some finishing work, they do welding, they do concrete. I was really, really impressed, and their prices were really reasonable. So I think for some concrete work, installing the fans, painting, running cables, running wires, hooking the wires up to my lighting outlets, I paid about $100 in materials.
Wow.
And $220 in labor.
Wow.
And 3 days of labor.
Amazing.
So compared to what I would have paid up north in the States for something like that, that would have cost me thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I can't thank these guys enough. It was great.
No, man, I'm glad to hear that it went so well, because it can be a daunting task, especially when you don't speak Spanish that well.
Right.
And you just, I don't know, there's something that's different about doing construction, maybe in a different country, you know what I mean? Things like that. And when you find someone like what you were talking about, who you found, Mastercraft, that's just incredible, man. That's really cool, because like you said, it just, now if you have another project like that you can just rest easy.
I'm gonna have them redo my wood, because my wood needs to be sanded down a little bit. It gets a lot of sun and heat exposure. So I'm gonna have them sand my wood down, restain, my big teak pillars and stuff. And I'm very pleased with those guys. I'm gonna continue to use them. So
yeah, one more time. What was the name?
Mastercraftsmen.pedasi.
Mastercraftsmen.pedasi. Awesome.
On Instagram. You'll find them on Instagram. Just search that, and you can drop him a note there. And he also shows a bunch of his pictures of his work.
Super
and
cool.
whatnot. So great guys. Very impressed. Very
Awesome.
impressed. Especially if you have a job during the daytime and you can't maybe get to your project till 4:30 afterwards. They work late. So
amazing.
These guys work from sun up past sundown, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, no, that's so cool when you find someone like that.
It's completely, because I was stressed out going into this. And then eventually, all the American football playoff games started to come on the air.
Nice.
So I politely asked those guys, I said, hey, are you guys good here working by yourselves? And they're like, absolutely. So I went up to Smileys in Pedasi, which is a local restaurant in Pedasi. It's a great restaurant. I went up to Smileys and I was watching the football games up there.
Yeah.
So I watched the Detroit Lions against the Rams. That was really good. That was a fantastic game.
Go Lions.
Yeah, it was. I was very, very happy that the Lions won. So that was a great game, and they were airing the later game as well. But I didn't stick around for that. I had to go, lock up the house. But it was a really good day. It's for a day that I had to work and do stuff. It was a good day, and I couldn't have been happier with the guys that came over. So
that's so awesome to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good.
Finishing up at Smileys too. That's the really cool thing about that restaurant that I liked is it has a little bit of like a North American feel type thing. But,
for sure.
But you're still in Panama, so you have that Panama feel. I remember last time we were there, they were showing football as well, and I'm like, well, this is cool. You can come here, have a beer or something, have a good meal with the family. It's still a very family-oriented restaurant.
Completely.
Our kids were feeding the parrot. Is the parrot still there?
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. I love that parrot.
I can pet the parrot now.
No way.
The parrot and I have a relationship now that I can pet that parrot on its head a little bit. It's taken me weeks.
What's the name? Do you know the name of the parrot?
I think it's like Chocho or
amazing.
Yeah, but I can pet if I have my hair down.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to make myself pretty for the parrot. And we'll show a picture of the parrot on our video too, or on our page. But it takes me a little bit of time, but
He'll let you.
Yeah, he lets me. And I have to go very slow with my hands, and I just gently pet it, and it's pretty cool. Doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
But
when he's in a good mood.
When he's in a good mood,
when you
and I look
enough.
good, so that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, that was it. And Smileys has great food. And you know what else I like about Smileys, since we're bringing it up? The food's fantastic.
Yeah.
A lot of North Americans hang out there. But a lot of Panamanians also hang out there. And it's just a great blend of cultures. And what I've found moving down here as a person that doesn't speak Spanish all that well is if I just try to speak Spanish, everybody will let me practice. The Panamanians love to practice speaking Spanish with me. They don't correct me when I speak Spanish. I wish they would, but they're just that polite.
Right.
And the nice thing about also speaking Spanish with the Panamanians, so many of the Panamanians, I would say a large percentage of the Panamanians where we live, they speak some English. So they like practicing their English with us as well. So it's a nice trade-off, and it's a nice way to for the community to kind of interact. So I speak Spanglish probably all day long.
Right.
And I would speak better Spanish if more people spoke Spanish, but everybody kind of meets you in the middle, so to speak.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
It's nice.
Yeah, I've yet to have, I'm sure there's been times, but I've yet to have anyone make me feel silly about my Spanglish, you know?
No, not at all.
And yeah, if you say, is that the right way? Is that the right way I'm saying it? Usually they'll correct you, and you know, hopefully I can remember. But yeah, it's very, very, friendly as far as trying to learn a new language. I feel like everyone's super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah.
I was really nervous about moving down here and not having a command of the language, especially when you're talking about getting insurance,
right? Same.
Getting your driver's license, doing business, and if you have some friends, if you just make some loose friends once you get here, it becomes really, really easy to get all of those tasks done.
For sure.
The biggest thing is not letting yourself get stressed out.
Yeah.
Planning ahead a little bit. And then when you go to accomplish that task, just plan on doing one or two things that day.
Yeah.
Don't overwhelm yourself. There's always tomorrow. And
well, because the people are really cool, something that really helped us, you know, just took the stress away, was same as you. We came here, I'm like, man, I don't speak Spanish. I have to buy a car. I have to, you know what I mean, get to where I need to get to. I'm going to be traveling down the highway. What if I get pulled over? The beautiful thing about technology these days is having that translator on your phone. Man, and because people are so cool, you just say, you know, uno momento, just give me a second type thing. You type in what you need to say, you show it to them, and then, you know, between hand language and things like that, we can communicate enough to get what we need to get done, or, you know, fix the issue or whatever it may be. So that was a huge, anybody who's worried about coming because of the Spanish barrier or anything like that, having that translator on your phone is like having somebody be your translator in real life next to you on your travels, which is incredible. I'm
glad that you brought that up, because that was one thing that I didn't talk about when I was talking about Mastercraftsmen.pedasi. Which translator do you use on your phone?
I don't know what the actual name of it is. It's just like, I think it's just like Google Translate.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just Google Translate.
I use Google Translate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I use Google Translate, and it works fantastic.
Awesome.
When I needed to really get my point across with Mastercraftsmen.pedasi, I would write it out in English, translate it to Spanish, and then I would message it to him on his phone. And we had zero communication issues.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have been happier. So thank you, Google Translate.
For sure.
Thank you, Mastercraftsmen.pedasi.
Yeah.
Next weekend, I'm going with you to Guanico.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, we're definitely going to do that episode at some point where we get Mo out on the water.
That's going to be hilarious.
It's going to be some good footage, man. And I'm proud of you. I'll be so proud of you that day.
I've taken a couple of surf lessons, and this is how bad I am. I struggle to balance on the board when I'm paddling out. Like, let alone balance popping up.
Man, that is tough.
I have. But just being able to be loose enough with my body on the board to paddle out and not accidentally slip off the board. So we're going to document my surf learning experience. I'm going to get a t-shirt that says total kook, and I don't know, maybe the audience can follow along. So
I think it's going to be great.
it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
And you're a pretty fit guy. You know what I mean? I think you're going to pick it up. I think you're going to pick it up okay.
I hope so.
I
Listen,
think so.
I survived 60 days of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
That's it.
If I can survive 60 days of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I can survive, learning how to surf.
I think so.
I just
think
have
you're
to
gonna
get
be
some
just
of these
fine.
projects done, and I'll be fine.
Nice.
So, but we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Playa Venao, and I'm going to ask Ben about 10 questions about his move down to Playa Venao, what his challenges are, and then I'm sure Ben's going to ask me the same 10 questions, and we'll see how different our experiences were. Ben, you moved down here with 5 people.
Yes.
I
My wife
moved
and
down
3
here
kids.
with 1 person, and we can kind of talk about and share how those experiences went. So more of that when we return.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you go to beachbreaksurfcamp.com, you're going to see that there is definitely surf camps there, but it's not just surf camps. At beachbreaksurfcamp.com, it is a hotel on the beach. Attached to that hotel is Pizza Gavilon, which is a great restaurant and bar. They serve breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then drinks in the evening. They have a surf camp there. They have approximately 8 to 10 rooms there. They might even have more.
And you know what? They have that one now above the surf shop, which is beautiful. Man, oh man, the balcony overlooking the ocean. Ugh.
Right. Yeah. And at beachbreaksurfcamp.com, you can spend the night there even if you don't surf. You can take surfing lessons there. Both Ben and myself and our families, we all do jiu-jitsu there 6 days a week. On top of that, they also have Muay Thai classes in the morning, ice bath, excuse me,
Yeah.
a polar plunge, not an ice bath, a polar plunge. They have yoga.
Yeah.
They have animal flow classes.
Breathwork classes.
Breath work classes. It is I would call it a total healing destination, a total activity destination.
Yeah.
And if you're a young person that wants to party a little bit, it's a total party destination.
For sure.
It services everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at their reviews on Google Reviews, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And the last big group that I saw there was a group of doctors that came in from Northern California, and they were doing all of their continuing education courses there.
Yeah.
So they were able to book out, I think, half of the hotel, and they were doing their continuing education wilderness survival courses there. So if you have a big family, a group of people, a family reunion, maybe a work retreat, you're active, you like to do a lot of different things, but you still like to have a couple of drinks in the evening, I would definitely check out Beach Break Surf Camp.
For sure.
And it's beachbreaksurfcamp.com.
Yes.
That's where you can find out all the information on the World Wide Web as I work with my tongue and stuff. Oh, and one other thing before I turn this commercial off. They also have a shuttle. They have a fantastic shuttle that runs from the international airport in Panama City right to Playa Venao. So even if you're not staying there, you can go to shuttle.beachbreak.com and you can catch a shuttle from the Panama City International Airport. It's a Tocumen Airport, and you can ride that shuttle all the way into Playa Venao. My son and I have taken that shuttle twice. My wife's taken that shuttle once. It is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So check them out if you want a great, fun vacation.
For sure.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling, man.
Everything good?
I think so.
Did you have fun on the break?
I did.
just stretched a little bit. I had to stretch and move.
I had some agua.
Get my flex on and stuff. All right. So this is the time in the show where we would normally interview a community leader, or one of the residents of Venao, people that have been living here for a while, but you don't really know us, and we're getting to know you guys. So instead, I'm going to ask Ben a bunch of questions, and Ben's probably going to ask me the same questions back, and we'll see if his experience moving down here was similar to my experience moving down here. Ben, where did you move from? Number one, where did you move from?
So we moved from a place called Kingsville, Ontario, which
Okay.
is right in, it's in Canada. It's right on Lake Erie. So the Great Lakes, kind of around that area. It's a pretty cool spot. You know, we're 40 minutes from Detroit, so we get a lot of like American news. I always joke that I knew more about like American news than I did Canadian news.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, it's a nice little place. We actually came from a 5th generation farm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So both of my sons were born on the farm. Home births on the farm.
Oh my gosh, how
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
is that?
Yeah, and my grandpa was born in the sink of the farmhouse.
Oh, that is so
Sorry.
fantastic.
Yeah, man.
So you are completely connected to the land there.
Yeah, you know, it's a pretty special spot. Yeah.
Wow.
When Beth and I got married, we had a basement apartment there, and then we converted the barn into our house. So it's just, you know what, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of fun memories from that spot.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
so cool. Is that, I believe Neil Young is from that part of Canada. Is that true?
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I think he's from, you know what, I could be wrong. I apologize to any Neil Young fans. Right now, there's one or two of our listeners is going, no, Neil Young's from this other part of Canada. You're
I
nuts.
definitely can't help with that. I don't know about that.
Okay, so Windsor, close to Windsor?
Yeah, you know what? I usually say Windsor because it's the closest city to us.
Okay.
Most people, if I say Windsor across from Detroit, they go, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about 3.5 hours from Toronto, Niagara Falls region,
Okay.
that type of stuff.
Okay.
So
Cold. It's cold up there.
It's cold, man. Well, the winters are cold. The weird thing is, because we're around the Great Lakes, the summers kind of feel like here. Super humid. It
Wow.
gets hot, but that's only for about a month and a half, 2 months,
Gotcha.
and then, yeah.
Then summer's
Then
over.
we're
Back to
switching
school.
again. That's it.
Break out the hockey sticks.
Yes, sir.
So when did you decide to move to Panama?
So one winter, we have some cabin rentals, and they only ran for half the season. So in the wintertime, you know, we're not doing the cabin rentals. So we thought, why don't we go check out a new spot in the world? We always wanted to travel with the kids, and we thought we'll rent out our place and we'll go somewhere really cool. So Beth and I one night get on YouTube, get on the internet. We're checking out cool places to visit, you know, cheap places, family of 5. We always are keeping that in mind. You
Sure.
know, these kids are eating more than I do nowadays, you
Right.
know? And five flight tickets, all that stuff. So we thought, anyways, let's check out something that suits that. And Panama came up. We thought, well, that's kind of cool. We saw some videos on it, and man, it was just kind of weird. We thought, let's do Panama.
So when you did your initial trip to Panama to visit Panama, how old were your kids at the time?
So that would have been 2 years ago. And Journey's 8 now, my daughter. My youngest son, Valor, just turned 6 in December, and Honor's 12. So yeah. So they were younger. Not too young, but that was another reason. We kind of felt like they were at the age where we could start traveling. And it was COVID at the time too. So a lot of places were shut down. There wasn't a lot to do in the winter. So that kind of made our decision to kind of go check somewhere else out during that time too. So that was kind of our reasons for traveling that year.
That's really, really impressive to travel with 3 young kids that age through Central America. I know a lot of people would not do that. And I probably wouldn't have done that either, except I've been to Panama now, and I see how Panama can work.
hello,
that's
cat.
awesome. We have a cat with us. That's really cool.
That's our jungle cat, Rex.
Oh, that's awesome.
He adopted us from Conyers.
Oh, fantastic.
We had the dog butt last episode. We got the cat.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. But I would have been scared to travel with my family of 5 at that age. But now that I've been to Panama and I understand the country a lot more, I would do it in a heartbeat, in an absolute heartbeat.
Right.
So you guys made the right decision, I think.
Well, it's funny you say that because when we said we were going, well, and I agree, we were a little bit, you know, anytime you're doing something new, there's those nerves, right? And you're like, am I making the right decision? I got 3 little blondies, you know what I mean, coming with me. And, you hear like, kidnappings and this and that type of thing. But honestly, I've felt safer here than I have in any of the major cities around where we were back in Canada. And yeah, we're super, super happy that we made that decision. And yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge, getting the confidence to do that. But man, like you said, I couldn't be more happy with the decision, and I'm so glad we did, because if we wouldn't have taken that step of kind of faith, venturing into the unknown, it's crazy to think we never would have found this paradise on the beach here,
And it truly is paradise.
It is, my man.
It is paradise. Did you have conversations with God regarding the move? Like, were you like, am I making...
You know what? I will say the first probably 3 or 4 days were actually pretty rough. They were actually pretty rough. We arrived, the language barrier right off the hop kind of took us off guard. Scooby Squeaks behind us wasn't in as good a shape as we were told it was in. Right. So we used a lady to purchase this vehicle prior to showing up in Panama. Not the first time, the second time.
Okay.
I'm kind of skipping a year ahead. The first time we were in Panama, we were here for 4 months just checking it out. So we kind of came in, we spent a month in Isla Colón, Bocas del Toro.
Okay.
Then we spent another month in Pedasi.
Okay.
And then we spent our last 2 months in Playa Venao. Okay. While we were in Pedasi, we found Playa Venao.
Okay.
When we did that, we decided that this is somewhere we wanted to stay with the kids. We've always kind of homeschooled. We've always been together. And we just saw all the activities. We saw the wellness lifestyle. And we thought, man, could we do this? And after that, probably 3rd month of being here, kind of working out the kinks and the nerves, we thought we could do this,
Awesome.
And I think one of the questions coming up is, how'd your family feel about that? Wait, so maybe I'll jump to that right now.
How does your family...
Because it just feels like it flows into that right now.
How does your family feel about that?
You know what? I'm very close with my family, and Beth's very close with her family. So that was... it's very strange to go, what do you guys mean you're moving to Panama type thing?
And when you say your family, I'm assuming that you mean your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And same with Beth. Beth has one sister, and I have 3 sisters, and my mom and dad. But I'll tell you, we had a really good friend, Seth, from Pedasi, and we asked him about that. We said, how does that work, man? Because I love my family. And he said, you know what the weird thing is? He goes, even though you're only going to see them maybe once or twice a year or whatever, however that works, he goes, the time that you do have with them just seems to be a bit more intense, a bit more memorable. You know what I mean? Because you know that you only have this short amount of time. So you kind of go deeper into conversation. You kind of really enjoy each other a bit more. And man, he was dead on with that, because when we go back, we really feel that now. And it's like you have these great memories. You try to do such, fun things together. And sometimes when you're just living there, we would go months sometimes without seeing certain family members anyways,
Sure.
So now when you see them, it's just like there's that
time well spent.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. When I fly back to the U.S., the time that I have there, it's fantastic, great quality of time. And I get to enjoy everything that I like about the U.S., and I ignore and push away everything I dislike about the U.S. right now. So my second, or I guess my 3rd or 4th, I don't know which question I'm on, but I'm just going to keep on going, is why did you choose Panama instead of, say, Thailand or the Philippines or Costa Rica or Mexico? I mean, there's a lot of great expat destinations for good nature living.
Yeah. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't know the exact reason why it was Panama, other than it was just one of the places we were researching. And I think between kind of some YouTube videos and doing some research online, we just kind of came to the conclusion that seemed to be a spot we wanted to try out. The kids always wanted, or at least the older 2 wanted to try surfing. So we're like, okay, well, it looks like we're going to have some really good surf there. And we're a jiu-jitsu family, so one major thing for us was to go somewhere where we could kind of do jiu-jitsu while we traveled. And everywhere we stopped in a place where we knew there was a jiu-jitsu gym. So those were the reasons why we went to each spot. Yeah. So we found out that there was this amazing jiu-jitsu professor, shout out to my Professor John, at Beach Break Surf Camp, which we did a commercial for. And your professor too. Your professor
my professor
too.
as
and
well.
Charlie's and my kids. And man, when we arrived and we saw the kids program there, and then Beth and I kind of got into the classes in jiu-jitsu there, and you walk out and it's right on the beach, and there's a restaurant. Oh my goodness, we were like, is this real? Like, if we lived here, we could do this every day. And that, to be quite honest, I think that was the reason why we stayed here in Venao. Our first reason, then everything on was just cherry on top, you know. But coming to Panama, I think it was one of the few places we were deciding, and I think just after some research, we're like, let's try Panama, you know.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Good. So, your kids were young when you guys made this decision. My guess, they didn't know Spanish when they moved here.
No.
How did your kids handle the move? And was it difficult in the beginning? Because they were young kids.
Yeah.
They're still young kids.
Yeah.
You know, so how did they handle the move?
No, great question. We've always been kind of adventurous with our kids. We're always trying new stuff, going, you know, kind of crazy places and this and that. So they're pretty good travelers, I have to say. You know what? They kind of just took everything in stride. We tried to make it as fun as possible. You know what I mean? We went to waterfalls when we got here. We went to some really cool beaches. I think at first, you know, there's always that kind of missing home a little bit. But I'd say once we got into the groove of it, they were super, super cool with it, especially when we came here. And this is probably the one spot on our trip where there was a lot of kids. You know what I mean? Isla Colón had some kids that we really had some fun times with. But when we came here in the kids program and we met these amazing parents with amazing families and the kids, it was great for our kids because they made so many fun relationships that they have today that have really grown and blossomed. And that really helped, you know, leaving some of their friends in Canada, having another group here that were, you know, just as awesome, just as fun, was really, really cool.
I could not agree more with you regarding that.
Yeah.
My son Charlie, he's 13 years old. His friend group, he has friends from Sweden, Spain, here, Panama, Israel, Great Britain.
Wow.
Germany. Like, he has an international friend group.
Amazing, yeah.
And they all speak multiple languages. Charlie speaks English and some Spanish. A lot of the other kids speak 2 or 3 languages.
Yeah.
And they are exercising, doing their schoolwork, and, you know, playing pretty actively outside all the time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
I really couldn't be happier for being exposed to the different cultures.
Yeah.
Okay. So I should probably ask you this, or I guess we'll backtrack a little bit. How long have you been living in Playa Venao, and what was your first year like?
Yes, so our first trip, we were here 4 months. We stayed here for 2 months of the 4. And then we purchased a little piece of land in Cañas, which is about 15 minutes from Playa Venao, and came back. And that was our first year. Our first kind of full year here was that year, which would have been last year. And it was an interesting year. It was an interesting year. We lived a little bit differently than most people would have that first year. We had, it was like a military tent that we set up on a big cement pad.
Okay.
That we put a steel roof over. And then we took part of that canvas tent. It's about 20 by 24.
Okay.
And we boarded it up on the front and back, so it's like a canvas cabin.
Right.
But prior to having that, which is really cool, you know what I mean? It was like,
sure.
It was like kind of glamping your first year. And that's one other thing that really kind of enticed us about this climate and this place was you can build something like that and live in it, you know?
Completely. If you can make it bug proof,
Yeah.
or I guess rain proof in the rainy season, you can absolutely live in a yurt down here.
Man,
no
that's
problem.
it. For sure. So we were kind of doing some research online, and we kind of talked to some people. We're like, what if we did like a canvas type house, you know? And let's try that out. You know, Beth and I we had some kind of unique Airbnbs back in North America, so we're kind of used to doing some kind of weird stuff anyways.
Sure.
And our kids are cool with it, so that's what we did, man. But that's what we did the first year. But yeah, we had some fun experiences that first year. Some snakes, not in the house, but at the hostel that we stayed at while we were preparing the land. It was like an $18 a night hostel, and we wanted to, do it on the cheap because we were putting money into the land. And yeah, we had a little friend come in the door one night. I moved one of the suitcases. All our suitcases were on the ground because it was like a very small room.
Right.
And there's a snake right there, right underneath the suitcase. And to this day, I don't know whether it was poisonous or not, but it had like a triangle head, which I'm told if it has a triangle head, you stay away.
Sure.
So, I felt pretty manly. I got the broom and I was able to get him out type thing. And I saved my family from this, from this snake.
You are Captain Canada.
There you go. That's what I felt like that night. And then we had another snake story when we actually moved to our land in Cañas. I went to barbecue one night, took the barbecue cover off, and then underneath the barbecue, which I thought was a t-shirt, and I almost picked it up because it had, the design on it, was an 8-foot boa constrictor.
Awesome.
And he's just chilling there. He's not harming anybody. It was nice and warm underneath the barbecue. So again, get the broom, sweep him away. But yeah, you know what? Other than that, we really enjoyed Cañas too, which is an awesome little place close to Playa Venao, that you can get to the beach in 15 minutes. Quiet. It's more kind of nature-y, I suppose you could say. But that first year, man, was fun. What an experience. I mean, we're always going to remember that. Our kids will remember it. We'll remember it for the rest of our lives. And it was just a really cool way to kind of experience a new country,
I almost sneezed on the air.
I saw that.
That was almost.
But that was a really
sneeze.
nice recovery. You
I was trying to. I was like, maybe we don't have to stop the record because I really like what you're saying. And I've had a similar experience, but different.
Okay.
I want to go back to the critter part because I know a lot of people are scared of snakes. I know I had a little bit of a phobia of snakes at one point in my life. A lot of people are scared of scorpions and bugs and spiders and whatnot. And these are very reasonable fears. I'm not casting judgment on you if you have these fears. But are you scared of snakes or critters or anything like that? Or was your family at all?
Not really. I mean, we had some trips to Florida, where you see snakes. And I suppose anywhere you're going to go tropical, there's going to be critters. I mean, that's just the world we live in,
Right.
Whether it's Hawaii, whether it's Costa Rica, wherever. So we kind of understood that. And I have a son who has a snake as a pet back in Canada. So
Okay.
we were kind of used to it ourselves. But also, you know what? It wasn't like, oh my gosh, there's snakes. We were prepared for it,
Okay.
We kind of figured anywhere you go warm, there's gonna be some of that. So yeah, our kids were fine with it. They're outdoor critter kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was cool with us.
I found that the more I learned about spiders and scorpions and snakes, my fear level went way down.
Nice.
Way down. Because snakes aren't aggressive. They just don't want to be bothered. So what the locals told me is when you go outside, if you're in kind of a wild area, which most of, Venao is kind of wild, you just stomp your feet on the ground a little bit. The snakes, they leave, they'll go away. I walk around barefoot all the time.
Same.
All the time. And if I don't have shoes or flip-flops, I don't stress. I just go barefoot.
Have you had a scorpion sting yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, my kids have.
Okay.
They put their shoes on once in a while. Now we know to kind of like, now they don't even wear shoes, but that first year they did.
Right.
And you're supposed to kind of bang out your shoe and they didn't. They got stung. It hurt. They lived. You
Right.
put some ice on it, you move on. It's like being stung by a bee, a bad
Right.
bee.
Yeah.
You're not going to die.
That's what I've heard as well.
Yeah, so it's all right, man.
That's what I've heard as well. Yeah, I don't worry about the bugs or the critters, and I don't have that fear anymore. I know this sounds kind of weird, but one of the things that helped me overcome the fear of spiders and scorpions and snakes is when I see them, I talk to them real nicely, and then if I have to move them or relocate them, I use like a big plastic tub or a box or something like that, and I'll just relocate them outside.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, if you can just stay outside, you know, you'll be happy, I'll be happy, everything will work out. And it's worked really well. It's worked really well. So
You got that whisper, that animal whisper. I
yeah,
love
maybe.
it.
I don't know.
love
I
it.
just didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to kill the spider or the snake, and I didn't want the spider or the
No,
snake
that's
to get
cool.
angry and kill me.
I'm going to start doing that.
So it works.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so my last question is, what do you miss from Canada? Do you miss anything from Canada?
I have one thing that comes to mind right away,
Okay.
and that's Canadian poutine, man.
Canadian poutine.
Anybody who doesn't know what a poutine is it's French fries
Okay.
loaded with gravy
Oh my gosh.
with melted cheese on top.
Okay.
And I don't know, I haven't found a poutine place in Panama yet, you know? So when we did our last visit, it was Canadian poutine for me. I had to go get a poutine.
How many did you like were you
I
eating
was
them
good.
once a week?
No, I had
or
one.
Just
I had
one?
one. I was pretty good. But besides food, my family probably for sure would be the major thing. But as far as culture and stuff, man, there's not a lot I miss because a lot of it I can still get here. You know, I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, a hockey fan, but I can still, you know, watch the games and do that here. I had a jiu-jitsu gym back in Canada that I do miss my jiu-jitsu family there. So I would say mostly family, but as far as culture goes, I feel like I can get a lot of that culture here still, you know,
Yeah.
even though we're in Panama, you know, you're in Central America. So family, poutine, and my jiu-jitsu friends, I think that's what I would say.
You know, I noticed that you didn't say, you know, like Amazon
No.
or Walmart or those establishments. But I was surprised when we moved here to find out that you can get Amazon.
Yeah.
You can get an Amazon delivery way out where we live in Playa Venao and Conyas very, very easily.
Yeah.
Those packages are shipped to Miami, and then Miami forwards it on down here, and you know, you get it 2 weeks later. So anything that you need from the United States, I get a lot of my supplements from the United States, like my vitamins, my fish oil supplements. I'm able to get all that stuff down here. So I'm the same way.
amazing.
I don't miss anything from a consumer standpoint down here at all.
No.
So
Yeah, you're not going to get Prime, but you'll get it, you know?
Right.
Like you said, a couple weeks and you got it.
like we have Netflix down here.
Yeah.
We have Hulu down here if you're using a VPN.
And you know what it showed me as well? It showed me that you don't need as much as you think you need.
That's correct.
You know, especially a family of 5. Like, I don't know. I feel like when there was all those things at your fingertips, sometimes you just make dumb purchases. You know what I mean? You'd get things that you're like, I don't know if I really need that. Your hand
Guilty as
goes up.
charged.
Yeah, you
Guilty
know?
as charged.
But when you know that maybe you might have to wait 2 weeks or this and that, it kind of takes the urgency off that purchase, and you just find that, you know what? You don't need as much, and you live a bit more simply, and it's a beautiful thing, man.
For sure. Like, I think about, you know, the dreary days of January and February.
Right.
And I'm not getting enough sunshine. I get a little bummed out. I jump on one of the shopping platforms and I start buying stuff that I don't need.
For sure.
Because I'm bored.
Right.
Because I'm bored. I want something new. I want something interesting, whether it be a pair of shoes or a pair of pants or whatever. And the reality is I don't need it at all.
Right.
I'm buying stuff that's going to end up getting sold at a yard sale for significantly less than what I purchased it, or it's going to end up in a landfill.
Right.
But since I've been in Panama and I go to the beach every day, or I'm going to jiu-jitsu every day, I don't spend like that because I get, you know, my soul is kind of filled up with being in nature, being with friends, being with family. And I don't need that new pair of shoes because I'm not wearing shoes.
For sure.
And then I got to figure out where I'm going to put them. And it's just a big hassle. So for me, getting away from that consumer lifestyle and getting back into a more nature lifestyle has really helped me out.
100% agree. Yeah.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Cool.
And then when we come back, Ben's going to ask me the same questions. I have significantly different answers than what Ben has. So you can hear a little bit about my story and where I came from and what we think about this. And that camera is a little bit wonky and weird, so we'll take a chance to fix our cameras too.
Awesome. Well, we are back, and this is the time where I now ask you the same questions you asked me, and I'm actually really intrigued, excited to hear what your answers are, because like you said, we both had different experiences moving here, and anyways, I'm excited to hear. So I'm going to start off with the first question that you asked me. When did you decide to move to Panama?
Okay, when did we decide to move to Panama? We visited Pedasi with my son, my daughter, my mom, and myself. We came down in March of 2019 to celebrate my mom's 70th birthday.
Okay.
We had a fantastic trip in Pedasi, or at least I had a fantastic trip in Pedasi. The kids, they liked it, but there was some jellyfish in the ocean at that time. They got stung. They weren't as excited about Pedasi as I was.
Okay.
In this area. But I could see the magic in it. I could see the people, the families, the friends that were having a great time, and I knew that I wanted to be part of that. And it had been my second trip to Panama. My first trip to Panama was in 2016 with my wife Jennifer, and we were in Bocas del Toro for about 24 hours, and we had so much fun that as we were riding the water taxi across the bay, not wearing any life jackets, stars in the air, it felt like I was in a movie. I just thought to myself, I can't raise kids here, but I really want to move to Panama. So after our 2019 trip, I started to kind of strategize a little bit. How could we make this happen? How could we move to Panama? And does it make sense? And I would look at different things, but ultimately what pushed us down here, what the straw that kind of broke the camel's back was we were living in Southern Oregon, and Southern Oregon is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. There's amazing hiking, amazing outdoors, amazing nature. And we love summertime. We love late spring all the way through early fall. It's the greatest time of the year to be outside. You get to ride bikes, you can hike, play soccer. It's an outdoor person's paradise. Great mountain biking. But the problem was 4 of the 6 summers that we were there, we would have these massive forest fires. Massive forest fires from Oregon, California, Washington State, and Canada. And the smoke would blow into our valley, and you couldn't go outside. You couldn't go outside from the end of June until the end of September.
Wow.
And when you did go outside, you'd have to wear one of those N95 masks.
Right.
So we were wearing masks before COVID just to deal with all of the particulate in the air. And to give you guys some substantiated data, in Southern Oregon in the greater Medford area, it's a giant valley. They grow a lot of fruit trees there, nut trees, a lot of orchards, a lot of farming. And the air quality there is always about 30 AQI. And that's the pollen in the air. That's just all of the particulates that are in the air. Sometimes it gets up to 40. It's not too bad, but I still had to use my inhaler. I still had to use my nasal allergy spray all the time. My son also has asthma, and he also has allergy and sinus issues. So we went from a 30-point AQI to a 250 point AQI
Whoa.
for over 100 days.
Wow.
Sometimes it got as high as 350 and 400, where you couldn't go outside. You could smell the smoke in your house. People were having to buy air filters, for their house. And I remember a family member saying, well, you just get an air filter. What's the big deal? It's like, I'm not living like this.
No, man.
I'm
Wow.
trying to live an extra 50 years. I want to make it to 100. I want my kids to make it to 120. I need good, clean, fresh air for that. So after our fourth smoky summer, I said, enough is enough. We have to move somewhere where the cost of living is significantly less, where the air quality is significantly better, and where we can learn how to grow and build happiness again, because we were just miserable. It was
Right.
affecting my mental health. It was affecting my physical health. It was affecting my son's mental health, his physical health.
For sure.
He couldn't play soccer, and he was a very, very talented soccer player. And they'd still continue to practice outside on days up until the air quality hit 100. Well, if you're practicing soccer and the air quality is at, say, an 80 or 90, it's still doing tremendous amount of damage to your body, and he'd have headaches at nighttime.
Right.
So it was
Wow.
It was killing us.
Yeah.
And this was before COVID. So then obviously when COVID hit, everything became magnified.
Right.
Because the public, everybody was a little nervous, everybody was scared. There was people that were wearing masks, there was people that weren't wearing masks, and it was just too much chaos for us to handle. So we decided to move to a location that suited our bodies a lot better.
Wow, man.
And
For
it's
sure.
been a real gift. I'm so happy that we did it. I'm so happy that we did it. And I wish my daughter, who's at university right now, hi Maggie, I love you. I wish she would have moved as well, but she's on her own journey, and she's loving college right now, and she has a great life, in the Western United States. So I know that she'll come down eventually for a month or two, and she'll feel some of the magic that we feel. But I'm happy for her too,
Awesome.
and the conversations that I have with Maggie, we're able to talk every single night via FaceTime, and nothing's changed. Our relationship's as strong as ever. And it's the same thing with my wife. My wife is still up in the United States right now too, because I'll tell you the story about my wife a little bit later, but she has a magnificent career up there, and she had some career goals that she wanted to hit after being sick she got really, really sick for, we'll call it 18 months. And she had to seek a lot of treatments in a hospital. I'm not going to go into the details right now, but after she got over her illness, she lived, thank God. Yeah. And she's like, I want to hit these career goals. So you guys go be healthy in Panama, fly up when you can. I'm going to fly down every chance that I get. And again, we spend a lot of great quality time together.
So awesome. Yeah.
We talk every night via FaceTime, either FaceTime video, FaceTime audio, and our marriage hasn't skipped a beat at all.
That's so
in
amazing.
fact, at Christmas time, we were laughing about how much we laughed over the course of 2023.
Awesome.
Because we would just, it was better time spent,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
Now, that first trip in 2016, you said you came down with your wife.
yes.
Was that on business? Were you guys on like a vacation?
We had gone to Costa Rica,
Okay.
and we were on the border of Panama and Costa Rica, and I booked the vacation. I can stay in some pretty shady shacks. Let's call it that way. I can stay pretty cheap.
Yeah.
She likes a little bit nicer accommodations. So one of the deals that I made is, if you don't like staying in this tree house, and it was a tree house, it's so inexpensive that we can maintain our reservation there, keep our bags there,
Right.
and go do an overnighter in Panama, which is exactly what we
Okay,
did. So
okay.
we went down to Bocas del Toro. We took a bus to Bocas del Toro, or a little van, crossed the border. It was really, really cool walking across this border where there's a river, and it was, I actually have some pretty cool video of that. And then we spent 24 hours in Bocas del Toro. I met one of the most interesting people in the world there. His name's Rex. He was a military contractor. He lives in Panama. He told me all about Panama. He was also in the service. I was in the military as well. And I said, well, why do you live in Panama? And he goes, because the Balboa, the currency here, is attached to the dollar. So 1 Balboa equals $1.
Yeah.
The currency is very, very stable. And the tax requirements down here were significantly easier than the tax requirements in the U.S. So as a military contractor, he could fly to Africa, he could fly to the Middle East, work 90 days, and then bring that 90-day salary back to Panama and live off it all year long and pay minimal taxes on it. So that was,
No, that's amazing.
You know, a stable currency definitely helped our decision to move here. Another reason why we like Panama is it's very easy to get back to the United States. I can be back in Southern Oregon in 24 hours, no problem.
Yeah.
I can hop a flight to Atlanta. I can hop a flight to Miami. I can hop a flight to Houston. I can hop a flight to San Francisco, to LA, and I'm right there. I'm on East Coast time, so I'm only 3 hours ahead of my family, and it just works for us.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close from a flight standpoint. And if you book Copa Airlines enough in advance, you can get some great tickets.
For sure.
Some great ticket prices.
Yeah.
You just have to book, late in advance. And yeah, I always fly with Copa Airlines, or I'll fly with Delta. Typically, I've had great luck with both those airlines. My neighbor flies United quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they all work pretty well.
Well, that kind of answers the why Panama. That
Yeah.
kind of flowed right into that. How did your friends and family, take the decision? Panama. It's like, well, where are you going? Why? We live in North America type thing. Like, why would you go down there and live there?
Okay.
Would you kind of give them that same answer that you kind of gave me, or was it a little bit different? Like, were they kind of like offended by the fact that you moved? Like, how'd that go?
Some people absolutely felt a little bit offended / abandoned. Because in America, a lot of Americans are like, America's the greatest, America's number one.
Right.
And I'm sure some people think that. I see America as going through a lot of growing pains right now. I didn't like, we had a riot at our Capitol, like an insurrection. Some cops got hurt, some cops got killed. There were some citizens that got killed. When that happened, that made me really, really sad. As a service member, I've always been raised to kind of protect our institutions. And when our Capitol, was, I don't even want to really get in. It just really bummed me out. It made me really, really sad. With that, I thought it was time for me to kind of go explore some other places.
Right.
My family was very concerned about Charlie's education.
Okay.
They were very, very concerned about Charlie's education. We found a great international online program, and Charlie attends that international program, and he's getting tremendous grades.
Amazing.
So schooling doesn't appear to be a problem. He took surf lessons for a year at the surf dojo, and that was incredible because it was like a science class. It was like a science ocean class where you learn how to surf. So, like, he would be observing tuna out in the water. He'd be observing stingrays out in the water. They teach him how to survive and not panic if your surfboard comes unstrapped from your leg.
Right.
So it was really like an ocean school where they teach you how to surf.
Yeah.
So education didn't miss a beat. But But yeah, they weren't crazy about it at first, but since we've gone back and visited a couple of times, and they've seen how our bodies have changed and grown for the better, they've seen how our personalities have changed and grown for the better, everybody's really supportive of it.
Yeah.
And everybody sees how we're adding years to our life instead of taking years away from our life. I'm a big data guy. I look at science and data and the facts whenever I make a decision. And 2 years ago, the life expectancy rate in America was age 78. The average American lived to 78 years old. Every year that's gone down. So now the current life expectancy rate for an American is 76.
Wow.
That's not the case down here.
No.
There are plenty of people down in Panama that are working and living very happily into their 80s.
Yeah.
I've spoken to a lot of elderly Panamanian people that they're very happy working into their 80s.
Yeah.
And it's
And you
a
see
good
it.
quality of life. Yeah, you see it.
Yeah.
You see it because they waved you when you're driving by. They waved you all the time. And that's one thing that we haven't really covered yet is how friendly the people are. And if you wave, they'll wave back.
Yeah.
It's really, really fun and inspiring. But
Many times Beth and I will see a guy and I'm like, he looks like he's got to be almost 90 or 100 and he's working the fields and this and that. Like, I think it's that active lifestyle, like you said, for sure.
Yep. Totally.
How did the kids, were they supportive? Charlie coming here, moving here from the U.S., your daughter, how did they take that? Because you were saying the first time you guys came, you were in Pedasi and with the stingrays and stuff, they maybe weren't vibing with it too much then. So how was it when you said, well, we're moving there, you know?
Well, I had every intention of bringing my wife and daughter down to Panama.
Yeah.
But my wife got sick, and while she was recovering, she really started to love her job, really love her job, love the people that she worked with. And her job was starting to really pick up a lot of momentum. And we couldn't move down because of COVID.
Right.
As well. Like
Right.
COVID kind of shut everything down. At the time, my daughter was going to be a sophomore in high school. We would have loved to move her to Panama to finish her 10th grade, 11th, and 12th grade year in Panama. But because of COVID, we couldn't move. And then all of a sudden, if we skip ahead, COVID's winding down. And now my daughter is going into her senior year of high school and she's getting tremendous grades. So she says, I don't want to go to Panama. I want to finish out my school year here. I want to continue to get good grades. And then I want to go to one of the universities on the west coast of the United States. And she'd worked so hard and she had overcome so much that my wife and I felt that it would have been not fair to, take her out of Oregon and move her down to Panama. So that was another kind of decision that we made. And I think we're all happy for it.
Yeah, man. No, it seems to be working really well for you guys.
Yet again, she's visited with my wife. She kind of gets to experience the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And it's also made her a more independent, more well-rounded kid.
Right.
Which is,
No,
I
that's
think,
super cool.
which is what we all want.
For sure.
And they're happy. Charlie, when I told Charlie that we were going to move, he didn't want to move at all.
Okay.
He did not want to move at all. He wanted to attend junior high. He wanted to still play soccer, but I was watching his health deteriorate so fast with his asthma and allergies that I just had to say, I'm sorry. Please trust me, son. It's going to be awesome.
And now we just had a soccer game the other day, and Charlie's ripping it up on the field. So
yes,
it kind of went full circle there.
Yes. Yeah. The kids are now playing soccer 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah.
On the local soccer field, and it's just pick up street soccer, but it's
Super
awesome
fun.
and it's
Super
a
fun.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So it was an interesting experience with with the kids, but it worked out. Everything worked out.
So you've been here how long now?
We've been here for 18 months.
18 months, okay. And how was your first year like? So I kind of went into my first year. What was your first year like then? So you made the decision to move. You're here now. Kind of take me through that story a little bit.
Okay. The first 90 days that we were in Panama was a learning process. I will say it's a learning process.
Okay.
I was still shedding all of the North American stress.
Right.
Like my shoulders were up here. I wasn't as patient as I am now. I'm stopping for that truck to go by. That's all right.
Once in a while we get trucks, once in a while we get some vanilla wind.
Yeah, it's all right.
You know what? But there's no way we're doing a podcast inside.
I'm not doing it indoors.
Heck no.
We can't do it
We
indoors.
can deal with a little bit of that.
Right. So yeah, I was still super tense and uptight, and I had that mentality of I got to get it done. I got to get it done. I got to get it done. And when dealing with the Panamanian culture, I wasn't used to the mentality of it's okay if it takes a little bit longer. There's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. And I had a tough time understanding that. I was letting my old career and my old mentality dictate my happiness instead of being completely present and saying, I'm going to do as much as I can today. I'm going to do my very best today. And whatever I don't get done today, I'll do it tomorrow.
Right.
So I had to adjust my communication style a little bit. There was a couple of times where I would get kind of short or a little snappy with Charlie. And then I would have to check myself and say, I'm sorry, son, I overreacted a little bit. But it was a little bit of a learning curve.
For sure.
And I have to thank, I really have to thank all the citizens of Panama. I have to thank all the citizens of Venao because they really model great behaviors.
Yeah.
They're very kind to one another.
For sure.
They're very accepting of one another's differences. And I'm very grateful for that.
Same.
It's really cool. And I can't say thank you enough to the country of Panama. I can't say thank you enough to the citizenry of Panama. You are absolutely amazing, and so much of the world can learn so much from you. So keep on doing what you're doing.
For sure.
I mean, thank you, Panama.
Yeah, and you can probably agree with me that first year, I didn't touch on this, but we're probably both going to agree on this, is that so many times you'd have those little issues and someone was there to help.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You get on the community chats or your neighbor or something, it's like, I got this issue, and they're like, oh, we know somebody or we can help you with that type thing. And there was always someone that seemed to be there who had either been through that before and had an answer, or was like, I know somebody who can help you with that. And that really helped us through that first year as well.
You bring up a great point. In the States, I don't use the phone application WhatsApp at all. But down here, everybody uses the phone application WhatsApp. It's a messaging, it's an encrypted messaging phone application. You can make video calls on it. You can make phone calls on it. And everybody uses that down here to communicate. And there's a lot of different community groups that if you're a member of, you can say, hey, can you recommend a good spot for pizza?
Yeah.
And 3 people will answer you right away.
Yeah. Mechanic, whatever it be. Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, can you recommend a good fixer to help me get my driver's license? This person emailed me back or messaged me back, hey, contact Daniel Vera. This guy is fantastic at getting things done as far as just logistical stuff.
Amazing. Yeah.
So the community will absolutely help you if you have a question. You just can't be scared to ask a question.
For sure. Yep. Absolutely.
So
I think the last thing is, what do you miss about the United States? What do you miss about where you were at, maybe at home, that you don't have here?
What do I miss from the United States? I can get I miss this. I miss some family members,
For sure.
but I see them on FaceTime every night,
Yeah.
and we fly back a couple of times a year, and they come visit a couple of times a year. So, but I miss my family members that won't travel here.
Right.
I have some stubborn family members that won't travel here,
Yeah.
for whatever reason. They might have reasons. I might call them excuses. Who knows? Who cares?
Right.
But I would love them to come experience the beauty and to just really feel it. As far as like things, as far as food, TV shows, music, I don't miss any of that.
Yeah.
Because like in my hometown, we have an In-N-Out burger, we have a Five Guys burger, we have a Killer burger, and then we have a really good mom and pop burger shop. I love cheeseburgers.
Same. That's my last meal. If I had a last meal.
Yeah, I love cheeseburgers. I love bacon cheeseburgers.
Heck yeah.
And I get an incredible burger down here.
Yeah.
I get an incredible burger down here. I get incredible pizza down here. Okay, I know what I miss. I miss the tacos.
Okay. Yeah.
I miss really good Mexican tacos.
Yeah.
Regional Mexican tacos. I've had really good tacos down here, but if somebody from Mexico or California wanted to move to Playa Venao and just make burrito bowls, tacos, and burritos, they could have a thriving little
And for sure.
Mexican food
I'd be there.
business. I'd be there all the time.
That's interesting that you said family as well as me. When we talked about what do you miss back in Canada and the United States, but we both, I think, can agree that FaceTime, being able to see someone while you're talking to them, really made a big difference. I know it helps my mom, who's a grandma, obviously, to my kids and my father, and it just helps that little bit of, it brings that extra level of connection, so you don't feel like you're so far away. It's I can see you, I recognize the house, they can show, hey, Grammy or Grampy, check out the waves, check this, and it makes the person feel a bit more connected to you, even though you're away. That really has helped us in that, that time in between us seeing them, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
We got someone selling something here.
We have some. We have either seafood or vegetable salesperson coming by.
That was new. I'd never seen that until we came to Panama.
Oh, that's the best.
The big speakerphone. So basically they have a truck with something in the back that they're selling, and they'll go up and down the street just like, if my Spanish was better, I could probably, but yeah, just telling you what they have, the good prices for it, and you can go out and just purchase it off their truck.
That is really cool. Yeah, that is really cool. I've often stopped a vegetable truck,
Yeah.
a meat truck, a bakery truck. There's not a dairy one.
Not that I know of, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably could
Probably.
get milk delivered if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's great local stuff. Great local stuff.
Well, man, I'm glad that we left this till now, because you and I have known each other for a little while now.
Yeah.
But I don't know, we just never had that conversation of why you came here, why I came here, what our families thought and all that. So that's been really cool. I'm glad we left it for the show so everybody can kind of see it happening in real time,
And now I have the full support of my family. My mother-in-law looks at Charlie and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you guys look so good, so healthy."
Nice.
She's like, "Listen, I miss my grandson, but you guys are doing so well. I know that I'm going to have you for a really long time, and that when we do get together, it's excellent time
So much fun.
spent together.
Yes.
It really is." Yeah, we're happy. We're happy about it, and it's really nice to have the overall support of the family, because it would be difficult to be down here and to always jump on the phone and say, "How come you're not here?"
For sure.
So I'm super grateful to all of my family members that support us being down here, and eventually when they come visit, we're gonna have them on the show.
Absolutely.
You will meet all of our family members on the show.
All the kids on the show. Absolutely.
We can even ask them the same questions just to make sure that our answers are honest and truthful.
Right, yeah.
So, but
Cool, man. Well, thanks so much for sharing.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm so glad that we kept this for the show.
Thank you. Now, for the audience, you guys probably have some other questions. you guys probably have some other questions that we didn't think about. So if you'd like to ask us some questions, you can just put the questions in the YouTube comment section. We'll go through that comment section, pick out some of the best questions or the most submitted questions, and then we'll answer those in a couple of weeks or so. So be looking for that, because I'm sure that you guys also have some other questions.
Yeah, about the area, about us, whatever type thing.
Right.
Yeah, we'll definitely answer each one.
Yeah, we can go through that. But I think now, we should probably take a break. And,
yeah, I could use some agua.
Yeah, let's take a break. And then when we get back, we're going to talk about some of the things that are happening in Playa Venao this week, some of the things that you can do if you come visit. And then that'll be the show for today.
Awesome, man.
So, all right, we'll be back. Are we good? All right. Excellent. I guess we're back.
We're back.
We're back. All right. So, what's going on around Playa Venao and Pedasi this week? I guess any news from Playa Venao? Did you notice anything? Any big news on the beach?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay. I did see one element of news, and I didn't send the field reporter out there.
Sorry. I do have some news.
Oh, we do have some news.
We have some doctors in Venao now.
Ah.
Venao now. Yeah,
Yes.
so I know they're here, but I think they're at where the dentist office is.
Okay.
So we have the doctors that are in Pedasi
Okay.
are opening up a second location here in Venao,
Excellent.
which is super, super handy.
So if you sprain your ankle,
yeah,
bust your hand open,
all that stuff, we
need
have it
some
here now.
stitches.
You don't have to go all the way to Pedasi now. It's right here.
Yep, you can do that in Venao. And that's in the building. That's right next to the Super Venao grocery store, which is a pretty good grocery store. Mm-hmm. And it's in this Smile for Life dentist building.
Yeah, next to the hummus area and the cantina.
Correct.
Which
Yeah,
are two awesome places to eat and drink as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Good friends of mine at the hummus area.
Yeah, the hummuseria is great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, if you want some really good Mediterranean food, check out the hummuseria.
Yes, sir.
Little shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's the news. I guess that's the big news for the week in Venao.
Yeah,
we have a new medical clinic.
Yeah, that's huge. You know,
Yep.
especially for families like me with kids who are, Valor's broke his arms twice the last 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Once here playing soccer, then one right before we came back to Panama, he broke his other wrist. So I have some active kids, man. It's nice to know that there's a doctor right in town, you know.
That's great. Another piece of news that happened, and I believe this happened on Friday, is a giant bull got loose on the highway to Playa Venao, and on the side of the road there was a giant dead bull. It had the horns and everything. It was really, really sad.
Man.
And it looks like it died on the road. Maybe it broke its leg or something, I'm thinking. It looked like it might have broken its leg. And
That
it
is
was on the
something you
side
have
of
to
the road.
watch out for here. Is,
Yes.
You know what? You get stopped a lot by. That's how they move the cattle here. They open up the gate. They got to move them to the next grazing spot. So you have some cowboys on horses, and they have the cattle, and you might have to sit and wait for these cattle to go through. But you're right. Sometimes they get out, and you have to be careful on the roads. You know, driving at night where you don't see them, because unfortunately, you know, sometimes it's casualty like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think a car hit that cow,
Okay.
because we would have heard about it. We would have heard
think
about
so. Yeah.
a car wreck hitting a bull. From how the bull was positioned, it really looked like it could have broken its leg.
Oh man.
You know, which is too bad. But yeah, I guess that's the depressing news. But the positive news is if the surf is bad in Venao, you can always go surf Guanico.
That's it. That's
and
it.
We'll have more surf tips and tricks news, coming
we'll
in the
have some
future.
Surfers on here.
Right. So I'm going to go over some events of what's happening in Playa Venao over the course of this week. Tomorrow Wednesday the 24th, and every Wednesday, there's adult jiu-jitsu from 6 to 7. That's at Beach Break Surf Camp. And that's from 6 to 7 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that's the class that we wear our gis in or our kimonos in.
Yeah, and if it's your first time doing jiu-jitsu, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 5 years now, and I've been to quite a few gyms. And I'll tell you, I've had friends come from Canada to do jiu-jitsu here, and it's like, what a great spot. If you're new to the sport, you want some really cool people. No one's trying to hurt anybody. Everyone's really, really chill. Professor John is incredible. He's been a black belt for like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Like, just, you know what? It's such a great spot to start the sport, to be introduced to the sport. I can't say enough about it, man.
Yeah, so come out tomorrow night and try a jiu-jitsu class. It's a lot of fun.
For sure.
And if you don't have a gi or a kimono, that's okay. They might have one there that you can borrow a little
Definitely.
bit. And if you don't want to wear the gi or the kimono, on Tuesday, tonight, and then on Thursday, the 25th, they have no-gi jiu-jitsu. And the no-gi jiu-jitsu for adults is from 5 to 6.
Yeah, and that's where you just get to wear kind of board shorts and a t-shirt.
Correct.
You know? So it's like you don't even have to have the kimono.
Yeah, I like that night because it's a little bit cooler for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Wednesday night, also tomorrow night, Wednesday night, it's salsa night at Pizza Gavilan? Pizza Gavilan.
Gavilan.
Pizza Gavilan.
I checked after our last episode just to make sure.
Yeah.
I think we got it now.
Yeah, so salsa night at Pizza Gavilan is tremendous.
Yes.
It's tremendous. And you can bring the whole family.
Talk about a workout, you know? Like,
Oh,
I forgot. You know, usually I only dance at weddings now. But man, getting up there and trying to really focus on the moves and getting the salsa.
Yeah.
And they have a live band, which I don't know. That always just makes the feel that much more awesome. You know?
It's awesome. You
Yeah.
could bring a date there and have a ton of fun, or you could bring your entire family there
Yeah.
and have a ton of fun. It has something for everybody.
And you don't need to know salsa. They have people on the floor that are kind of showing you what to do, so you don't have to feel silly.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wednesday night, you can also check out Salsa Night at Pizza Gavilan. All right, Thursday they have live music at Smileys in Pedasi. And if you're staying in Pedasi, Smileys is just a great place to meet some locals. There's plenty of North Americans that'll talk to you up there, and if you speak Spanish, there's plenty of Panamanians that are up there that'll talk to you as well. So check out Smileys for some live music. I was there last Thursday night, and I got a little bit of footage of one of the local Panamanian bands playing, Alegre, and they were phenomenal. Sometimes they'll have like classic rock being played. Sometimes they'll have more traditional Panamanian music, and both are awesome.
Amazing.
I like the Panamanian music a little bit better. I just do. It's more fun. There's more percussion. I like drums a lot, and they incorporate that into the music, and it's fantastic. So check them out on Thursday night. Friday night, I would say just go anywhere on the beach.
Man, yeah.
Anywhere on Venao. From the Swell Bar all the way down to La Barca. La Barca's at Eco Venao.
Yeah, Swell's usually showing either like UFC on Saturdays, a lot of soccer games, anything that's kind of like hot on the sports spectrum, they usually have on the screens. And right there, you're sitting on the beach with a Corona, with whatever you want, looking at the waves and just enjoying the music and the vibes. Swell's a really cool spot.
It's a great spot
Yeah.
for people in their 20s and 30s
Yes.
to go meet other people in their 20s and 30s.
Yes.
It is awesome. And you're right. It looks like a Corona commercial.
Yeah,
It
for
looks
sure.
like a Corona commercial, except you're drinking Balboa or Panama or one of the
you
other.
get Corona there too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
exactly, exactly. Hey, how much does a beer cost on the beach? I don't drink. That's why I asked.
Man, so locals get a certain discount, but you're looking at like $2 to $3 type thing. I think it's $3.
$3 for
Yeah,
a beer.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they have specials, man. So depending on the day, you can get like $2 beers. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
At least I have. I don't know.
I tell you, like, if I'm not a huge like party guy, but if I was gonna take, a friend out or my wife out or something like, I really like Barca down at
Yeah.
Eco Venao.
What a cool
La
spot.
Barca is great. It's a bar that looks like a ship, and It is fantastic. It's a lot of shade, a lot of nature around. They have great music. They have a tiny little, I think they do some food there as well.
Man, yeah, they do. Actually, yeah, the food there is really good.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, this cool ship that's like the bar on a beach. It almost looks like a ship got beached on the beach. And right there is the surf dojo, which has the skate, the skate park kind of thing there. And then they have this old pirate or this playground pirate ship for kids, the volleyball.
Yeah.
And all these places to sit. And that's a nice shade spot. We were talking about there's not a ton of spots with shade. That's a really good shade spot.
I would recommend anybody that's coming down here for a good party time to start at either one end of the beach, where at the Swell Bar, or you could start at the opposite end of the beach at La Barca. Have 1 or 2 beers, move on to the next bar.
Yeah, try it out.
Have 1 or 2 beers, move on to the next bar.
Sounds like a pub run now.
Exactly. And you get to walk the beach when you do that.
Yeah.
So the length of the beach is approximately from bar to bar, it's probably about 2 kilometers.
Okay. Yeah.
And you probably hit 3 or 4,
Yeah.
5, probably 6 bars all the way down.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend doing a pub run or a bar run, and then you could just talk to people along the way.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
highly recommended.
Maybe
So-
that'll be a podcast or
Yeah,
show. You know what I mean? We'll
should
do that.
We should do that, actually. I'll be the designated
Sounds good.
whatever person. Like, I'll hold the equipment or whatever because I don't drink. But yeah, that'd be cool. So Friday and Saturday, maybe consider doing a pub run. And if you don't drink, you don't have to drink booze. Like, they have plenty
No, not at all.
of like mocktails and craft drinks and stuff like that. There's a lot of people down here that don't drink, so it's not a huge party culture. And I'm not judged for not drinking either. Like, I can get kombucha down here, I can get really good iced tea down here. A lot of times I have club soda with lime.
Yeah.
And I never get judged, and I never feel weird,
No, not at all.
for it. So it's pretty cool. All right, Saturday the 28th, Sunday the 28th, there's going to be some American football playoffs at Smileys. So if you're into football playoffs, American style, go check it out at Smileys. They have all the games there. And when I was there on Saturday watching the last game, it was so cool. This dude was playing the blues during halftime. So I'm looking up at the TV screens, and then just to the left of the TV screen, there's a guy strumming the guitar, playing the harmonica, singing blues. And it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'll see if I can include that photo on our website.
Cool.
So that's Saturday and Sunday. And then that brings us to Monday the 29th. On Monday the 29th, there's a Muay Thai class in the morning at Beach Break Surf Camp. And it's at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, my wife Beth has been doing that, and she loves it. Yeah.
I did it last Monday. I
That's
was
right.
late
Yeah,
to the
she said
course.
you were there. That's
Yeah,
right.
it was so much fun.
Yeah.
I love that Muay Thai class. And what's cool is you don't get punched in the face.
Right.
Like, you're hitting pads, and you work on your technique, and you get some great self-defense skills, but you're not actually sparring.
Yeah.
I suppose you could if you wanted to after class, but you just get a really good full-body workout.
Yeah.
Also on Monday, in the evening from 6 to 7, we have adult jiu-jitsu with the gi. So that's what's kind of going on Monday. And one other thing on Monday. On Monday, in Pedasi, at we'll call it the brew pub, Cuckoo Crazy. There is a bar in Pedasi called Cuckoo Crazy. It's just outside of town. The person that owns it, his name's Dennis. He's a Belgian gentleman. He speaks like 6 languages.
Wow.
He brews his own Belgian beer there. It's phenomenal, I'm told. He brews his own kombucha there, and he brews his own craft sodas there, like craft ginger ale,
No way, wow.
maracuya soda. And you can get all of that stuff at Cuckoo Crazy on Mondays, and Monday night is their expat night. So
Man, I gotta go. I've never been yet, and I've heard so many great things
Dude,
about
it's
it.
great.
Yeah.
Like, Smileys is closed on Monday nights, so everybody goes to Cuckoo Crazy on Monday nights, and the beer, I'm told, is phenomenal.
Awesome. I'll have to try it.
Also, if you want to stay at Cuckoo Crazy, we have another truck coming by. If you want to stay at Cuckoo Crazy, you can also book a room there. They have some little casitas there where you have a bed, a sitting area, a bathroom, a shower, and there's a restaurant there as well. So
I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
cool.
if you'd ever like to spend the night at Cuckoo Crazy, you can absolutely do that. It's a great place to take your wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever.
Amazing.
And the owner of Cuckoo Crazy, Dennis, super cool guy, very interesting guy. If you can get him talking, we have to bring him on the show because he's a very gifted athlete, very gifted triathlete, and he swam from Isla de Iguanas to the Arenal Beach.
No way.
He actually swam from Isla de Iguanas to the Arenal Beach. He had a safety boat. The captain of the safety boat said, you can try, but you'll get in the boat. And Dennis said, no, I think I can swim the whole way.
Wow.
And he did that. He swam the whole way, and then I think he worked the bar that night. So if you come to Pedasi and you visit Isla de Iguanas, you'll see that's a heck of a boat trip. I think it's about 8 kilometers. It's about an 8-kilometer swim.
Yeah, that's a cool spot. We'll talk about that another episode, but that we went there with the family. Amazing day. That's a really cool spot to talk about.
Yeah, let's bring on the family to talk about Isla de Iguanas and how to get out there and do all that stuff, because that is a great trip. But so on Monday, if you're bored, go check out Cuckoo Crazy.
Cool, man.
And other than that, you got anything else?
I think that's it for today. I think that's the episode.
That's the show.
Yeah.
I don't know how
you learn a
long
little
we
bit
went.
more about myself and Mo. And future episodes, we're going to have some really fun, interesting guests on from the Playa Venao area. All of them I'm super excited to interview and hear their stories and what they have going on here in this area. So
Yeah. So if you have any questions, ask us questions in the YouTube comments. We'll try to answer it the next episode. Thanks for listening. My phone's making all kinds of noise right now. And we're happy that we have you as an audience.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff that they tell you to do on YouTube. I hate asking for that. And if you can find it in your heart, go to playavenaoshow.com. Check out our website. It's a work in progress. We also have a little donation button there. So if you feel like you want to buy us a cup of coffee or a smoothie or something, you can hit that donation button, and maybe we can figure out a way to make it work, and we'll toast you on the air or something. So
cool.
Yeah. But thanks again, guys.
Yeah.
And
till next time.
have a great day. Over and out.